market cap. Now, unless you make money, go ahead and visit
HJEMFZ.com.
this token. Is the end game. It's the shitcoin of shitcoin. I mean, imagine telling your coworkers you're quitting because Harry Potter, Obama, Sonic 10, and you coin. Imagine the media reporting on Harry Potter, Obama, Sonic 10, and you. Ticker is Bitcoin, breaking 1 billion market cap. Now, unless you make money, go ahead and visit
HJEMFZ.com.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome back, guys, gals, aliens, and DGen freaks. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to Dano Crypto. On this channel, we show you guys how to make simple, effective, and easy moves in the cryptocurrency ecosystems. Now, we're not messing around anymore, my friends. We're going to continue to get more and more bullish on crypto. Why? Because we think that it probably has the best use case in the world, where someone would tell you that no, it's a Beanie Baby, doesn't have any use case, it has no utility, it's not real. But I am gonna wager to bet, and I am betting, that it might be more real than the things you touch, and more real than the cash and all of the stuff that we've been led to believe actually has value. But guys, we're going to be getting into it. Holy crap. Let's change this thumbnail. Let's go. Money printer go burr. We got Jerome Powell on the setup to turn on those money printers again. We have the signal coming down the pipe that the rates are going to be aggressively cut instead of this steady pace that the Fed has had for the past 4 years, where they crank those interest rates up and then they are slowly just cutting it a little bit, all based on if they are going to get their economic data that they want. And every time it comes in, it looks bad. Jobs are being lost, more jobs are going to go away, and AI and blockchain are fusing together to take over and put us into a new paradigm of finance and DeFi, and how we're basically going to live in the future, and how we're going to transact, how we're going to live, how we're going to work, what jobs are going to completely disappear, and then also what jobs are going to be created. So this is all coming down the pipe, my friends. So you need to get ready. You need to be not betting, but you need to be investing and looking towards the future and building either new brands, new companies that have to do with getting into the blockchain and AI. And you'd be surprised at what companies that you already have, maybe, that you could implement crypto and implement AI to basically fast track your growth in this new world. This is what we've been thinking about. How can we leverage all of this disruptive technology to our benefit? So this is what this channel's been slowly gearing towards, is just to get people bullish on crypto, get them to start to look at these emerging technologies, these ecosystems, and just to honestly still get the track back on Bitcoin, because Bitcoin always surprises us. Bitcoin, I think, has had the biggest FUD campaign against it out of any asset in the world. I think Bitcoin has had the biggest FUD attack because it is such a disruptor. And so to the point where it spurred all these different cryptos, it spurred all these different innovations, forks of Bitcoin, but something still has this through line of if Bitcoin is successful, everything else is successful. If Bitcoin's down, nothing else is really going to do that well. Yeah, we've had Zcash going up, and we've had XRP in certain points, and we've had these little blasts of altcoin, just these, and it's only very specific things. But what I think ultimately is if you look in Bitcoin's history, it has had this through line of when Bitcoin is doing well, most things are doing. And you would think, oh, Bitcoin's doing so terrible because it consolidated from 126 down into 90K. Oh my gosh. But when you look at the history of the chart, it's done this every time. Every time it's done these pullbacks, it's broken all-time highs and just completely shattered any expectation of what people might have had. So I'm still focusing on Bitcoin as the champion, and people are very much thinking that Michael Saylor is going to get liquidated. Michael Saylor being the strategy of basically being a debt issuer, equity issuer to get exposure into Bitcoin without actually buying Bitcoin. That is the simplest way I can explain MicroStrategy. If you're wondering what Michael Saylor's been doing, is that he's basically issuing to where if you want to buy a preferred stock or an option stock to get a yield and exposure into Bitcoin, you can do it through MicroStrategy because they have the ability to get access to that, to higher amounts of equity. They've already been acquiring Bitcoin for longer than any public company. So they have that advantage already. And they're getting access to international equity and liquidity. So it's not just from American, investors. So that's kind of what they're testing out. And so with that, I think will come it's volatile, but Michael Sayers explained that the volatility is actually a feature. It's not something that you want to avoid. And so this is with this disruptive technology like crypto, there is going to be these drawbacks that are going to get people to convince you that, okay, it's over and you need to quit or you need to get out, sell. But if you look at any chart, a historical chart on the monthly or weekly, we've had more upside than bear markets. So we've had more upsides than we've had bear markets. So we've come to the conclusion after looking at these charts is that the bears will win the battles, but the bulls always win the war, because ultimately the bears will win these little small battles, and ultimately liquidity and the overall scope of where we really want the markets to go is just to continue to perpetually go up. That always wins, because you're not going to continually make money in the bear market and think that you're just going to continue to reap the rewards of the market, quote, going down perpetually. That's not going to happen, because that's not the world we're living in right now. We're living in high throughput liquidity that's going all on chain, powered by AI, powered by massive amounts of money all across the world. That's how you have to think about it. So it's time to get bullish, my friends. It's time to get into whatever persona you need to get into. You're Kanye. This is Kanye Dano. This is the Dano that makes people angry. I don't know why, but because I get too damn confident, and then I start getting real powerful, wanting to change the damn world, start to become a king billionaire. This is what this jacket says on the back, hilariously. King billionaire, my friends. This is what we need to be channeling right now. All right, let's go. Okay, so we're going to get into how the 50% drawbacks for Bitcoin are normal. The 90%, as you see on the top of the screen, the 90% on the alts are also normal. Those are the ones that are really meant to shake you out hard, okay? Now, first, let's get to some comedy. I want to show you guys something really funny. It's not just... I hope Gainsey sees this because it's really funny. I had to post a workout video today. We're hitting the bar. Just doing some deadlifts and then deadlifts into the push-ups. But I had to take a screenshot and I said, yo, Gainsey, it's okay. It's not just you. The bear is in all of us. The bear is in all of us. And of course, I've been obsessed with Dreamcast as of the past, I don't know, but I guess past year or so, I've been really obsessed with going back into the Dreamcast era. And it has such the vibe and the code and the vibe of what era we're going into right now, because Dreamcast is very much like ahead of its time and very cypherpunk, and the characters and all of just the way that it operated and the way that it felt, the music. I want to like live in that universe. And so now in the future here, we have the ability to create and manifest our own freaking this is what this is what I feel like the meme coin communities are. It's like being able to tap into something, that feeling you get with nostalgia of how I'm feeling with Dreamcast. Okay, you might feel that with Pokemon, and it's like that's what I've been feeling recently. I've just been really, really tuning in, and whatever it is, it's inspiring me. But I thought this was really cool. I was listening to one of the playlists this morning on the workout, and here is literally a Sproto. I mean, there's a Sproto back in the Dreamcast era. And if you know, and obviously if you know my favorite meme coin, Harry Potter Obama Sonic 10 Inu, it's got a lot of reference back into the Dreamcast era, especially with a lot of the memes are used from the Sonic Adventures Dreamcast game. But yeah, really feeling it. But I thought this was funny. Have fun making billions of things explode. But yeah, shout out to Gainsey's hairy shoulders. Don't worry, we got it. We got you, bro. Let's see. What was this? What was it? Yeah, there was a couple posts I wanted to point out. Yeah, someone was saying, oh, I'm all for pushing boundaries of what you can say in this paradigm of freedom of speech, but this is just not funny. Feels cringe and contrived. And he was mentioning about the poly market traders post where they were like, to whom it may concern, all Jeeks, Turks, Nigerians, LARPing, and this would be, they would, Ticker Bitcoin chat would probably think this is hilarious. LARPing as e-girls will have their poly market affiliate badges, resigned by tomorrow. Please get your last slot posts in before then. Thank you for this attention to this matter. And Halloween, shout out to Graham, said, feels cringe and contrived. How? He's like, this is something that many on CT would say and most found it funny, because a lot of these accounts that you think are, quote, e-girls are not. It's literally someone in a basement with the phone farm. So you got to watch out. Just make sure if it's an e-girl or a crypto girl messaging you, they don't exist. They're not actually real. Let's just remind you of that. Okay, so let's keep going. Let's keep going. All right, we're going to get into the Bitcoin price here. So what we had is a really nice little recovery here. During the weekend, we basically had the weekend Basically a nice little weekend recovery, and then Monday was was going strong. So we're going to take the gold comparison off of here. We're on the Coinbase chart. And so now that we hit a lot of the order blocks that were at the lower liquidity areas, I'm looking for the liquidity now in the order blocks that are red up to the top. So those are the price points that I would be looking for as resistance. So you can look at like 111, 115. You can see in the ones that I like to... Yeah, French Toaster said, what? My crypto girlfriend in the DMs is fake? This is an outrage. This is what's funny. There was like a classic account that was on CT that actually had a lot of followers, and it was, I don't know guys if you remember, but it was called, it was Kara Zabo. And this person was clearly a man posing to be a woman to get engagement and get algorithm. And this account was making money and was also operating as a woman and was clearly not a woman. This account eventually went away and disappeared and got banned. But I don't know if you guys remember, but this was old school CT. So if that account ever popped up in your algorithm, that was a man. Dude looks like a lady. Yeah, it was, it's ridiculous. But honestly, that makes, I hate that. I really do. Like, if you are online and you are a woman posing to be a man, or you're a man posing to be a woman, you are being deceitful, you're lying, and you are going to potentially ruin someone's life and your own. Stop doing that. It is not cool, and you need to stop. It's really ridiculous. We got Julie Kennis in the house. Let's go. We got to get Julie back on. I don't know if Julie wants me back on her channel, because I don't know. We'll see. We'll have to see what she says. Let's see if I didn't scare Julie away. Let's see. What does she say? Will I be able to come back on her channel? We'll have to see what she says. I hope you guys like my Vitalik intro. We've been trying to just spice up the channel a little bit, get the, make it fun, make it entertaining. By the way, got the website updated just a little bit more. I'm really trying to drive a little bit more SEO traffic to the channel, and the way to do that is through your website, through the blog. And I realized that too, if you post YouTube links directly on X now, it actually plays it through the X like on the mobile, and it doesn't click directly to go to YouTube, which doesn't give you good algo for YouTube. So what you have to do is get people routed into YouTube through a click funnel, but you have to make it less clicks. So what I did is I made it to where you go on the post here, like say, for instance, like I wanted to share this live, and this is, maybe you guys can test this out for your own stuff. So I was like, look, I'm going to be going live at 11. Instead of posting the video here, I posted my website blog post. So you click one and then one more click. So it's like 2 clicks in, you still get you see that, you get the thumbnail. This will also be SEO'd on the World Wide Web. And then you click here to watch, and then this is what happens. You come to the best live stream in crypto. One more click. So it's like 2 clicks in, boom, boom, boom. See, we're learning this stuff together, my friends. We're going to take over the world here, and you guys are coming with me. So, all right. So let's break down some of what is happening here in a quant breakdown, thanks to Grok. Shout out to Grok. We're going to get the update for today. So this is kind of just the overall general macro breakdown with a little bit of what's happened in the short term here. So we're just going to break it down here. So yesterday's buy the dip, call, nailed it. Market cap bounce 1.5% to 3.1 trillion. BTC reclaimed the 88K. So it actually went up, I think, to 89,000. And so now it's up 1.3% today. And alts like XRP, 11% are ripping on the ETF hype. So we talked about how XRP, if you're wanting to even just accumulate spot right now, I think the price right now is not bad, because you are looking at a 2 to 3x going into some of the ETF hype, and they are going to be going public. I don't know when, but there is a lot of talks of them accessing a lot of liquidity by going public, Ripple Labs. So it's Ripple Labs going public, and then you think about the XRP, ledger of they're obviously going to be still a good contender as an altcoin, and not compared to it trying to compete with ETH or compete with Solana. I think it might just be doing its own kind of thing. It might, and I realize this now. It's taken a long time because obviously, you can get a little tribalistic. Cryptos can make you get a little tribalistic, but you have to just go by like metrics and factors and know that there's gonna be haters on the extreme side of Bitcoin maxis or Solana maxis or ETH maxis or XRP maxis. But you know what you could do is be like me and Headband and a lot of other people that just go, I'm gonna buy ETH, I'm gonna buy XRP, I'm gonna buy Solana, and I'm gonna kind of hold it all. Because you can. You have access to. What you think Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger and all these famous, long-term investors, they just bought like one thing? No, they definitely diversified a little bit. I mean, but what they did was they found the winners, and they realized what actually did well, and then they kind of adjusted over time, and then eventually doubled down on probably what worked for them the best. But it took a little bit for them to figure it out. Obviously, it's not like they won every time. I'm sure they had losses over the period of years, but this is what we're trying to figure out now, because crypto is a new emerging tech. It's still pretty new compared to the most of old, traditional finance and stocks. So this is why I think we are underestimating us being here early and investing in established projects, and also testing out, something like Barachain or something like Sui or Say or something like Pulse Chain, or anything that is like gonna give you what you think is gonna be the best asymmetric upside, and in diversifying in a lower market stuff. But then you have the ability to expand and just be like, all right, I know Sol, ETH, and BTC are getting such like flows here through the ETFs, and then XRP too. So it's just, there's a lot of ways to get exposure, but it's all up to you. Like, you just have to figure out what is gonna make you like, inspired. Really, I think that's what also it is. It's like, what is gonna like make you actually do it? Because most people are not doing it. They're not trying to figure out how to allocate $100 a month, even if they don't like, there's a lot of people right now, let's be honest, they're trying to survive. They're trying to figure out how to pay their bills and just be like, okay, how do I get to the next month? Without having to get credit or get like a payday loan or something like that. That is the reality for a lot of people right now, is they are just trying to figure out their basic income. So, so I get it. But if you are that person that is starting to do this and you're starting to get $100, like, okay, I have $100 now. You can take $100 and literally, from what I just said, you can buy $25 of Sol, $25 of Bitcoin, $25 of XRP, $25 of ETH, and you just started yourself a DCA portfolio with $100. Boom, 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 boom. And then you have something. It's yours. And then you can now send that to a friend. You can now hold it. You can send it to multiple wallets if you want to. You can stake it to try and earn some yield. That is what the future is. And so once people realize this as a thing, we will have euphoria. But I don't know what's going to spark that. So for me, that's what gives me the spark to be like, wow, I can actually have control of my assets and my money more than I ever thought I did, because I always felt like I was being used by the system, and I was, quote, the idiot pawn that did all the debts, I did the things, I took the car loans out, I did all the stuff that they want you to do to become a debt slave. And now that I'm unraveling all of my mistakes and trying to turn them into more lessons learned and transmute that, crypto is the answer. Crypto is the answer. It really is. So if we're here right now when everyone thinks and doesn't even know what the heck it is, oh my God, we're going to be so rich. We're going to be so rich. Do you understand? So the fear and greed index is still at extreme fear, and we, looking at the extreme fear, we know that when we go into extreme fear, you buy the blood, you buy the fear, and it's hard sometimes to flip that and reverse it. We have to reverse it. It's all good. Fears fading, rotations brewing, we're post shakeout, the macro tailwinds. We got we got it, it's coiling up. So alts rotation kicking in, BTC steady. We're gonna check out the alt to BTC ratios real quick. Actually, we'll just do it right now. We probably got a couple targets already marked on some of these charts for the BTC ratio. And you guys should have a section in TradingView where you're checking the main alts that a lot of people look at. So we like to track ETH BTC, and really you want to look at it on the weekly. You want to look at it on the weekly. There's no sense in looking at these charts on a short-term time frame. There really isn't. All you need to know is, like, for instance, for ETH BTC, every altcoin season that we've had has been represented in the ETH BTC ratio flipping bullish and hitting into fib levels. Okay, so every time we get hit, we get rejected at the 1618. Then sometimes, if we're going to even get even more bullish and smack up to this 2618, we could do that too. We haven't even hit at all near the area where we've had our two different altcoin seasons, basically represented in 2016 and 17 and represented in 2020 and 2021 right here. I mean, I'm not selling nothing until we get here. That's my plan. I mean, my plan is very simple. I might take a little bit of profits into the rally, like DCA out because I'm DCAing right now. I feel like I don't have enough at all. I'm sure you guys feel the same way. You're just like, I want to back the truck up to these prices. Like, AVAX is $13. AVAX is cheaper than a McDonald's meal. AVAX is cheaper than a McDonald's combo, a large. AVAX was $174 in the last bull run. What's changed? Nothing. In terms of the fundamentals, nothing's changed. The only thing that's changed is people have become more pansies. I'll tell you that. People have definitely become more pansies being in crypto, but instead they needed to get stronger. This is fueling me up. I'm like, $13 AVAX, bring it on. Bring it on. All right, so the point I'm trying to make here is you need to look at the BTC ratios of these alts. And know when they start flipping bullish here, which we got ETH BTC on the weekly flipping bullish now. We had a consolidation. You can see we had a V-shaped recovery. We hit the 618. That's a nice rejection level. A lot of the times when we hit that, we're going to get rejected. And you can see here we have that 382, which is a nice bounce point if we're bullish. If it's bearish, you just go back down to the 236, which is one of those also support levels as well. A lot of these act as resistance and support. 382 and 236 is support levels bounce, and then also the 618 and the 786 can be resistance levels, and then also a big resistance is the 1618, but then support also can support is at the 786. As you can see here, represented right here where we had a nice support, boom, pop right there. And then also look, support, all support. So we're in support for the ratio to flip bullish for alts. Look at Sol. Sol's doing the same thing. And if we were to put, the fib here, you can see, we'll pull a fib from this one. Go to the bottom here and you can see, look, we're getting some support here. We had resistance hit at the 618. And we're eyeing it to recover back into where we were cooking. This is actually the level that I'm looking for, where we get into like freaking Sol season. People are going to get sidelined real hard by Sol. I think people are just going to get sidelined in general by crypto. I've just turned so ridiculous. I mean, I've always been like a perma bull for crypto, but now it's getting ridiculous. And then XRP Bitcoin, this one is looking, yeah, damn. I hate to say it, but this thing's about to freaking pop. This thing's about to go. If this thing is about to hit hard, it's this thing, yeah. Guys, the XRP BTC ratio flipped mega bullish. And then you can see, this is why I don't like Cardano. Look, ADA against BTC is trash. But look at XRP, Sol, and ETH compared to BTC. The whales are even telling you that they're not accumulating Cardano and they're accumulating XRP, Sol, and ETH. And look, and then Link Link is flipping bullish. See, this is bullish. And then now we're going to see if AVAX, AVAX is also flipping bullish. But it's been in a big, descending wedge here. So we got to figure out where the bottom is. Yeah, I mean, Link is a little interesting. It's in this channel. It's in like a nice little channel. But then you go to AVAX, it's definitely in that same kind of channel. So these are kind of they're at the bottom, you know. Another one that really has had a hard time against BTC is Litecoin. That one is the one where it's like, it looks really bad. But when this does break out, I think Litecoin is going to go to $500 this cycle. It's gone to $450. Why couldn't it go to $500 when everything is busting out? It's just, Litecoin has the ETF as well. Litecoin actually has direct boomer retail exposure, all with the apps. Every app like that gets the crypto add-on has Litecoin as an option. It's always Bitcoin, Litecoin, ETH, and then sometimes they'll have Bitcoin Cash, and there's a few more. Then Solana was added recently as one of those like default options. So whenever you see those default options, I don't see that as bearish. Some people say, oh, that's a top signal, now that's, but I don't see it that way. Like, that's where people underestimate it. That's where people have built up such a cycle, like, thing in their brain of being like, oh yeah, we're just getting tricked, But I get it. It's PTSD from all the rugs and all the exchange capitulations. But you got to think, this industry is now regulated. It's matured. All of that was massive, just wild, wild west crypto. And all those, everyone basically thinking that the yield was actually true and was too good and was true, but it was too good to be true, and everyone got wrecked. But now we have like government level, SEC, institutional grade crypto coming in, but also with connection with DeFi. That's what you guys don't understand. Maybe you do, but for the new people coming in and watching, why we've become even more bullish on crypto is that it's not like, oh, we're mad that the institutions came in. No, it's just the fact that the institutions came in, but they're playing along with DeFi. They're actually encouraging the DeFi aspect of crypto in a way that is enabling institutions to use the DeFi protocols through staking, through the modality of the ETFs. So when we start getting into those types of things, look at the Solana ETF flow now. Look at what is happening here. We have now 4 companies that are offering Solana ETFs, and we're going to see XRP jump on this list and then start to be tracked on Farside Investors' website as well. And then you can see what happened with Bitcoin. We've explained it. What happened with ETH when we started to see the inflows come in. And with Solana, we're starting to see the daily. We're going to start to see 100 million, 200 million daily inflows on Solana. And then we're going to start to see Solana break all-time high going into some levels. And this is why it's represented actually with the whales. It's showing you through the BTC ratio chart that we're about to see an insane altcoin season. And it's going to be led by XRP, Sol, and ETH. And all the coins that are on these ecosystems that people are cultured in and memed in and have a big community and are loud are going to pump so hard. That's my thesis. That is what I think is the best thing that I can give you as alpha right now to focus on, and ignore all the noise. Ignore everyone and just look at the charts. Look at the charts. These are the easiest charts you can look at. You can even go others BTC is starting to recover. Others BTC is recovering and starting to get back into test into these fib levels, and it makes no sense to give up now. So please destroy the like button if you're feeling that. This is a conversation between me and Edben. I said, yep, BTC to millions, and Sailor will be legend. People don't get it yet, but will soon. Yeah, he said Sailor will be a legend. So ahead of his time, no one will be able to catch up to what he's doing. And I said, honestly, people are pansies. They let's be real. I said, risk takers make the most money. People still believed in the facts for years and years and years after the internet and email clearly won, and they held on for dear life. And they eventually had to pivot. So this is what we're seeing right now. If you see any of the squeaky wheels or the people that don't understand what's happening right now, is because they forgot their history. They forgot how fast things move and how they can disrupt an entire industry. And, Amazon is a perfect example. We've used Amazon as this example. And so we just have to have some patience and know that we have to play the long game. So in playing the long game, we have to take the hits in the volatility. And so you're going to see your portfolio like my portfolio has fluctuated in thousands of dollars all up and down, and I've sold things too early. I've moved around too much over my crypto career. I've made all the mistakes. If I might probably will write a crypto book, a little short crypto book of lessons learned in crypto. I might call it that. Lessons learned in crypto, because it's not really, the value is not in like looking at someone who made a bunch of money and like, okay, yeah, I'm going to listen to that guy. It's not really about that. I could have come out of making zero, but at least the lessons that I've learned that I could then share for someone else to not repeat would be so valuable. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's not really if I came out a millionaire or came out with zero, but if I came out with knowledge that I could share to then someone coming into the space to get a realistic view of, quote, investing, whether it's in the stock market or crypto. That's how I want to operate in the space, because that's just how it's been. But I think the best advice I can give is play the long game. Don't move around so much. Try to take advantage of some opportunities where you see it fits, but do less. Like, just do less. I have realized this over time, is that you got to just do less. And most of the time, the things that you were bullish on, like years ago, I bet you could even break down a thesis of why you're even still bullish on it. And that's kind of what I've discovered. I've been like, dang, I'm still pretty solid on what I discovered over the time, and I've stuck with it. So nothing's changed. But what did change now, I think, is my perception of it all. And so the perception of it all and changing you, like we talked about this the other day with the spoon, the matrix breakdown, and the way of realizing that there is no spoon. Like, we make and exacerbate our own control, and we create the shackles around us, thinking that it is actually from the outside, that there's all these systems, all these things from the outside that are controlling us, and we gotta stop the system. But then that's how they control you, is you even believing that it even exists to begin with. And that's the ultimate level of control. And that's when you're like it, that's when you're like this, when you're like Neo in that scene where Morpheus is like telling him like that like he just realized that the Matrix, like, he's like, he was in the Matrix. And I'm like, oh my God. He's like, he's like, get me out. Get me out. I want out. You want out, my friends? You need to realize that this shit ain't real. And the only way that you're going to control anything and change anything is to change your perception of the entire thing. You got to change yourself. And that is when everything changes. And I will prove it to you. All right, so let's do the portfolio breakdown. Yeah, I know. I need a chain. I'll get you the Lothlorien, suckers. I'll get you the Lothlorien. What you know about the Lothlorien? Let's go. All right, so portfolio breakdown. I think if you were someone that had $5,000 right now and you wanted to invest in crypto right now, This is a great time. And I'm not a financial advisor. I'm a bonehead on the internet. So I can consult you. If you would hilariously like to book a one-on-one session with me, I can consult you in crypto. If you had $5,000 right now and you scooped up just like 1,000 of Bitcoin right now, you're getting a great price. I mean, the price is $87,000 right now. It was like all-time highs. And so yeah, 1,000, 2,000 DCA, you don't even have to buy it all at once. You can just be like, all right, I'll do 200 a day, 200 the next day, whatever it is, because it might even go back down to like 86 or 85, but then spike back up to 90 and kind of, fluctuate around enough. That's what I always say. You don't always have to full clip stuff. You can just DCA and just kind of take it easy. And what's cool is you can even practice, say, all right, I'm going to do $200 on this wallet. I'm going to do then $200 on this wallet. And then you can kind of spread it around and, and then you're doing real nice, healthy hygiene diversification. You're making sure all your things still work. You're like making sure like, okay, this works, that works. Okay. I know where my seed phrases are. All this stuff is great. It's funny that you don't really focus on this stuff when it's euphoric. When it's euphoric and things are popping off, your mind is going to get so like caught up in the FOMO that you're probably going to like, I don't know, you're going to do something wrong. You're going to send something to a wrong address. I don't know. You're going to do something stupid. So right now, when people are complaining and quitting and thinking it's over and they're like, oh, pack it up. And like you're listening to you're listening to traders that don't even care if the market goes up or down. They're just like, oh, I make money when it goes up or down. I don't care. So don't listen to those people. So you need to start preparing and getting all your stuff ready. Get hygiened. Because you're going to be a crypto like gazillionaire. So you need to be able to protect all your assets. Okay. Ethereum, you could same. Look, Ethereum is $2,000. If you bought $1,000 of Ethereum, 1,000 of Bitcoin, you're already close to getting like over a quarter of ETH before it breaks into going to $10,000. And the same with Solana. Solana's at 135. This thing's going to go to $1,000. And you could scoop up a couple Solana before that happens. Crow is going to go to $1. And look, it's at 10 cents. Super bullish Crow. We don't even have to explain. I mean, just go to my channels and watch about Crow. Type in crypto.com and Crow in my search section of the channel, and I'll save you the time. Harry Potter Obama Sonic 10 Inu has the best branding and lore and meme culture in a community with an an NFT project. Cool people, devs, all the stuff. It's got everything that can't be recreated or copied or destroyed. It's the coin that lived, and it's my favorite meme coin on ETH. Coupled and combined and paralleled with Pepe and Wojak, because these three contracts came out all around at the same time. And whenever I got into crypto Twitter and started to really go down the rabbit hole of contracts and getting into the meme space, these kind of lit the fire. And so I've stayed true to them. Dogecoin, same thing. Dogecoin was what onboarded me into crypto. Zara is going into cool tech. I love testing out new tech and dashboards and wallets and all that stuff. And I really like this stuff. So if you are into testing out new things and you want diversification into privacy, Zara, I think, is the top pick right now, because they are going to be doing the hackathon for Solana. And if you remember during the hackathon last year, I believe so, all those AI projects and things and whatever got promoted by the Solana Foundation and the hackathon, and whatever got the most traction or won either first, second, third place, some of those projects ended up going to 400 million, 500 million, getting close to almost $500 million. Most of them was hard to sell out of, though, I will say. This is where you have to watch out with liquidity. You have to watch what you're holding. You have to protect yourself and know that, okay, if I'm first entry into something like Zera or any new project, you are having basically a lot of the early supply. Okay? But that doesn't mean that if whales come in and then they're accumulating and then they want to sell, there's going to be some slippage. There's going to be people selling at resistance points if it gets up to, say, 100 million, 200 million, whatever it is. I saw it with the AI coins on Solana. So something like Zera sitting at where it's at right now, it's at 25 million market cap, but you got to not focus on the market cap. Focus on the liquidity, okay? And you need to know that, like, if it still has a pretty small holder base and the liquidity is, hopefully it is locked. Doesn't look like it's locked on here, but it should be. When this thing gets to, $100 million market cap, $400 million market cap, how much are you going to be able to sell without having high slippage? And are you going to want to DCA out of it? Or are you just going to want to hold it? Because something like this is what's interesting. If you have a long-term outlook on something like this, you're not thinking about selling when you just get up to a 2x, 3x, 4x. You're thinking about Zera taking over the private offline digital cash protocol as a whole on Solana, utilizing all the tokens like Bitcoin, ETH, SOL, stable coins, which is all part of what we just talked about as a base allocation going into the new paradigm, which is combined with private cash. So you could be that person that's, okay, yeah, I'll sell out of my initials and then hold a moon bag, or you're buying up supply to be part of the DAO that is voting now, and you're getting fees and voting rights and all this stuff being a part of the Zera ecosystem because you hold like tens of thousands of tokens. And you don't even, and you could sell a little bit of it, but you don't even have to. That's the kind of stuff when you're investing in early projects and allocating supply, because what if the whales are going to be allocating supply of this particular token once they figure out that, like, this is going to be the freaking thing? But we don't know. We don't know exactly, but that's the whole game. That's the game. That's why you just have to be delusionally bullish, crazily bullish. Be like Alex Becker calling for alt season perpetually when everyone's crying on the timeline. That's how you have to be. So, what else do we want to cover today? Because we're going to end the live stream here in just a couple minutes. Went for an hour today, so let's look. And honestly, we really never know, but this is a pretty good look at the future. Okay, it's pretty good look at the future here. A bustling coffee shop in downtown Tokyo in 2025. Two friends, Alex and Sam, are at the counter. Alex owes Sam $100 for a bet on a soccer game. Barista says, well, that'll be 15,000 yen for the lattes and pastries. Alex, fumbling through his wallet, says, shoot, I left my card at home. Sam, you got that $100 you owe me for that soccer bet? Sam, grinning, pulling out a small circular 3D token chip from his pocket. Can't draw any cash out, mate. Take this little Zera token chip and scan it with your phone instead. Alex, skeptical, a chip for real? How's that supposed to work? Holding up the chip, watch this. It's got Bluetooth NFC tech embedded. Just tap it against your phone and it off-ramps the stablecoins privately, offline. No internet, no bank, no trace, pure privacy, secure like a hardware wallet. Alex taps his phone against the chip and a notification pops up. Wait, it's working. $100 in USDC, shielded, anonymous, but how does this scale globally? Sam, sipping his latte. Simple. Zera is not just about this is about this chip. It's about scaling private offline stablecoin transactions worldwide. Think of it like Bitcoin's true digital cash ethos, but with any assets like stablecoins. You can keep your Zera as an SOV as it burns with supply diminishing and price rising at same time, and instead of use others' assets for the private transactions. You can settle payments anywhere, anytime, without revealing a thing, whether it's buying coffee here in Tokyo or businesses paying for expenses and it's all secure, anonymous, and offline. Impressed? So I could use this chip to pay for anything anywhere and no one knows it's me? All right. Overhearing, the barista says, sounds like science fiction, but if it works, I'll take one of those chips too. All right. Let's see if this is going to be the future, but it could be. And then you got your Zera debit card, MasterCard, virtual card. Look, everything is all virtual. Everyone's using tap to pay from their phone. You can even do tap to pay with your Apple Watch, you know? And think about it all. Everything has the Bluetooth connectivity. Everything is like, think about how many devices are running off of Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. And then what you have to think about is, okay, yeah, power goes out, grid goes out. But literally, check this out. There's generators and power systems and obviously, solar power that will still be powering certain aspects of the infrastructure that will still run Wi-Fi and the cellular network and also pinging through these rails. So think about it as like literal it's literally think about it. It's literally waves of energy, frequency that is pinging to all different devices. And as long as you can connect into that through a protocol like this, you can send someone money still, regardless if the power grid goes off or not. And I like the fact that it's linked with Solana, but also you can use ETH, you can use Bitcoin, you can use the stable coins. This is leveraging massive, massive growth. It took me a little bit to kind of realize it. I will say I faded Headband because sometimes there has been a few things that Headband has sent me that was something like this, and then I kind of just saw it kind of go up, and then it just went nowhere. But this, though, for the first time, I was like, okay, when it did the contract migration and then I saw it going from a pump contract like Monopoly money, then going to Zera and then seeing the stuff in the dashboard, and I'm like, oh, okay, this could be something really, really big. And I'm starting to focus on it now. And I started DCAing. So now I have I think 10,000 tokens or something like that. And I'm just going to keep accumulating in these super lows and just see what the heck happens. Because I want to test it out. I think it would be I want to test this stuff out. Just like, look, Pavel Durov with Telegram, you got to think Telegram, he's building. And I've tested out the Telegram wallet. A lot of stuff going on in there. And that's an early ecosystem, I think, too, when we're talking about alts and things that you can test out. That one I think might be still a little sleeper. Might have a nice little rotation into the Ton ecosystem. What else do we want to cover? Oh yeah. Speaking of stable coins, okay, so stable coins expected to exceed 3 trillion in the next year. 3 trillion. And the total market cap of crypto is at 3.3 trillion right now. So I said, stop being bearish, please. And yeah, it's cool because Headband says it will onboard normies, seamless people, and it's seamless. People won't even understand they're using crypto, and that is always going to be the problem with crypto. The problem with crypto is that it's like it's gotta for normies be just like you're just like doing a and then everything's happened in the background and you don't have to do so much. That is what it eventually will get to. And like, you know, all the developers like Vitalik Buterin, all the big guys, they talk about this as that's been the biggest problem in crypto is the user interface and user experience. Because ultimately, to get everyone on chain to be able to, and then Coinbase understands this too. It's like, that's why they're trying to socialize it, because they realize that that's what got people on their devices using it more than they've ever used them before, was to get them addicted to social media, get them addicted to Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all this stuff. Okay. So I know I used a bunch of threes. Kuzim, yeah, you realize what I did, where I didn't even realize what I did, but maybe I am in the Illuminati, but the good one. I am trying to illuminate knowledge, but I'm part of the Jesus Illuminati. All right. Yeah, oh my God. Yeah, there's just going to be, the point I'm trying to make here, it's going to be freaking insane how much money is going to be coming on chain. And so with the stable coin super cycle that everyone's talking about, and then you can leverage something like this or whatever you find. It doesn't have to be this. I mean, it could be, but I would agree with Headband. He's like, because Headband was like, look, I can't find anything more bullish than this on the market right now. Nothing else is more bullish than this. And I kind of like when you start to look around and look, I'm looking at crypto every single day. I see all the stuff every single day. I see the launches. I see the stuff. I see everything. I'm only going to talk about what I really truly do think is going to probably have the biggest asymmetric upside potential. And that's why I've talked about Zera. That's why I've talked about Pulse Chain. That's why I've talked about Ethereum, Solana, Bitcoin, all the ETH memes on the major Ethereum memes, and also the fundamental like super tech stuff on Solana, like the DEXs. Like they're gonna make so much freaking money. It's insane. All the stable coins being minted on Solana, on Ethereum, on these chains. And then you just go down the list, and then that's my thesis. But then you could apply that to Sei, Sui, Ton, all that other stuff. And then it's like, then it's kind of hard to choose, because like I'm bullish on a lot of stuff, but I try to narrow it down so then I can have enough liquidity allocated to the things I really do believe in the most. Because then, you know, I'm kind of in that point now to where it's like, I've seen the stuff I like pump and I've missed it. I've seen the stuff I've liked for years pump and I've missed it through different things that I've had to just deal with in my life that has siphoned my own damn liquidity to be able to really truly back the freaking truck up. Like for instance, when Ragsy came on the channel and talked about all the coins that she'd made a lot of money on and was like early to, I was like, I was early to the same ones. Pepe, Wojak, Tigger Bitcoin, Brett, Ponky, Bonk, super freaking bullish memes early on, under freaking under $20 million market cap. Discovered these coins. They all went to freaking billions, except Ticker Bitcoin. But Ticker Bitcoin went to like 350 million, 400 million all-time high. But all of these have done massively well. And I've done a little bit well with some of them, but a lot of it I've freaking just missed just totally fumbled. But I'm still bullish on them. So no, it's not copium. but I've just narrowed it down now. So I'm like, I'm not gonna not at the point where it's always again at the max extreme fear of the market. Extreme fear. Where's the freaking chart of extreme fear? Where is it at? Freaking 12. Extreme fear in these markets right now. And what does it do? It's always in the extreme fear time where I felt like I didn't have enough to back the dang truck up to accumulate the blood. Scoop it up. So we're flipping the script. We're changing the story. We're not going to repeat the story. That's how you change a reality. You stop telling the same story. You stop programming the same story in your reality, because that's the only way it's going to change. Stop saying crypto's over. You keep saying that it will be over for you because you'll quit. So, do you accept the truth? I hope you do. I'm going to mark this as website as safe.
Thank you so much.
Okay. All right. Let's look at the bookmarks real quick and then we're going to end the live stream. All right. We got that. Okay. Solana is listing a bunch of different tokens and they're bragging about it. Let's see. Richard Hart keeps explaining to people you really got to stop leverage trading and just accumulate spot. You're going to do better. Raul Paul is also reminding us to ignore the noise, doing our best to remember that we have always seen these 56, 62% drawdowns. It happened in the previous bull markets, and it always superseded or what preceded after was a mega run. And a lot of the times people call for the doom, and then they get sidelined, or they end up sidelining people because then no one is fully ready. But the people that are buying up extreme fear right now will be the ones that will, quote, be really ready. I think that's pretty much it. We had a little bit more. I think instead of the bookmarked, I think we liked a lot of stuff. So my likes are private, but I'll show you what I like because I don't like a bunch of weird stuff on on here. People forgot that Charles Hoskinson helped build Ethereum. That's funny. We want Yinxie J to fully succeed, and if he's not already a millionaire, please help him do so by getting him to be the official base poster for Coinbase and Base Chain. They'll pay him millions of dollars. Let's see what else. I thought this was funny. XO said, the ZEC shills are quite quiet as of late. I was like, everything okay? Finished offloading yet? XYO was reminding us that robotics and AI need trusted data, not guesswork. So XYO gives robots, drones, and autonomous systems a way to prove where they are, what work they completed, and where their data came from. That's pretty cool. We have definitely explained the use case of XYO and how that could be what could go into the future of a blockchain that could be invested in that is going to be powering this stuff. Maybe they make a crap ton of money. Who knows? But it's just like investing in early companies that are trying to pioneer this stuff, and it's just it's a bet. But you got to be in for the long-term vision. You only lose when you sell at a loss. So just a nice little reminder for you. Spotify is increasing their monthly service. No surprise there. But if you remember, YouTube Premium on just a single plan, if you're on a family plan, or if you're on like a bigger plan, I think it's like $18 a month. But you get multiple accounts. You get access to YouTube Music, and it's actually really worth it, honestly. And you get no ads, and it's just the same as Spotify. You can do the radio stations, you can do all the things. And what it does is it remembers and kind of curates some of the stuff that you've liked on YouTube through the videos and kind of mixes it all together. So just a reminder, if you want to boycott Spotify and start using YouTube Music, and if you want to listen to my music on YouTube Music, go and type in Constant Swimmer, and you can check out that stuff on YouTube Music. And start a radio station from Constant Swimmer. All right, I think that's it. That's all we wanted to cover. Check out Moon King B Root's video. We liked his video talking about how Jerome Powell, they're basically like Jerome Powell is going to be very much influenced to aggressively cut rates, and if not, he's basically going to be pushed out, and a shadow Fed is going to be operating and getting these rates to be aggressively cut. I think what they might do is they might really sideline people on the poly market and start to get where we get a 50%, a 50 basis point cut. That would be crazy. But it's now back to us getting a 25% basis cut. Okay, 85% chance. This was a 50-50 of a no change and a 25 basis point cut. It was 50-50. Now it's back to 85. See that divergence? And it went whoop. So now we have 1% chance of a 50% or a 50 basis point cut. But I'd be very curious to see this start to diverge hard, because the meeting is on the 10th. Okay, you go to CME Watch, it's 15 days away, and it's on the 10th of December. What if they freaking take, because look, right now it says there's a 1% chance. How could it happen? How could it happen? What if they freaking go boom, and then they just, the poly market odds start to go 50% chance, 50, and then people start rallying price. Bitcoin is blast past 90K, alts start rallying with it. ETF, like all the coins that are, bullish, that are so ETF, ETF altcoins. And then on December 10th, we get the classic pullback, because remember when we increased the rates last time, we rallied into the rate cut and we dumped on the rate cut day. So we bought and rallied and DCA'd and traded into the event, and then on the event we sold. So so I think this could probably be the setup here. And if you look at the charts, it's kind of looking like that. You look at Bitcoin just right now, just as a of what its movements are doing right now. Yeah, we're just probably going to trade up into some of these levels here. We completed a lot of the max pain hits on the 4 hour. If you look at the 4 hour, we marked a lot of those max pain hits of wick liquidity. Hit that, and now we're going to be eyeing probably 100. We're going to be blasting past 90K, going up into the 100Ks again. And this could happen probably into December 10th. And then we could get a sell-off right before a Christmas rally. And then that's where we get the pop. And I don't know what the heck is going to happen going into the end of the year, but I have this that would be an insane God candle going into 136,000, because that was my original price call for the end of the year, was to get to 136,000, which would kind of line up fundamentally with how it would be priced in gold. Because if it's priced in gold right now, we would already just be there, but it's priced in the dollar, which is getting destroyed. We look at the dollar and it's getting absolutely destroyed. We could add the dollar on here. We add the dollar. And look at the dollar. It's getting cooked. probably more so represented on the daily chart. It's not looking good. It's under 100. When we start getting into these levels here, look at Bitcoin price when the dollar's down here. Look how inversely correlated it is, okay? So watch it go like this. Back down here. Okay. And you see these spots? That was 25% moves to the upside, okay? So from here, right here, and that's what we got to do. All right. That's my best case scenario. We'll see what happens. But all right, guys, thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Make sure you check out any of the links in the description of the channel if you want to directly support the live stream. That is the best way that you can do it. And thank you so much for hitting the like button. We got over 10 likes. That helps a lot. And make sure after we end the live stream, you comment your thoughts. Let me know what you're holding. Let me know what you're bullish on. I really appreciate it. Follow my X account at DanoCrypto904 and visit the website danocrypto.com. And also, if you want to earn rewards by using MetaMask and swapping, so far we have 4 people that have signed up using the rewards program. So help me get to 10. So if you haven't done it yet and you use MetaMask or you want to start using MetaMask, this is a great way to earn rewards to get the Mask airdrop and the Linnea airdrop. This is going to be huge. So both of these airdrops are going to be big airdrops, and this could be a way that you could farm it. Check it out. So click on this, you click on that link, use my code, and also check out crypto.com if you want to get all the different type of crypto services all in like a one-stop shop. And you want a debit card that I think has probably the best use case debit card, and also to build up rewards, points, all that stuff. I've used it for a long time. I actually really like the crypto.com card program. It's one of the best ones out there. And if you want to use it, then, and it's also got a lot of access in a lot of places, I have a link and a code in the description. So thank you so much. And God bless you guys, and have a good rest of the day. We're going to be live streaming again later tonight. So we will see you at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Bring your thinking caps and also your fun caps, because we're going to continue to break down some altcoins. We're going to keep, pull up the charts, and then we're going to test out some crypto video games. I feel like gaming. I feel like testing out some crypto game stuff. All right. We'll see you on the next one, guys. Peace.